What's going on, everybody? Time for another review of The Rings of Power. This episode is episode 7, fresh off the heels of the best episode of the series so far, which is episode 6. And obviously, it literally is just dealing with the devastation of Mount Doom, which we didn't know was Mount Doom, erupting and causing the creation of the ash cloud that protects the orcs in the land that shall be known as Mordor. Sorry about the voices. I couldn't help myself. So this episode deals with basically the fallout of that, as well as jumping to the story with the Harfoots and the Comet Stranger. So this episode, obviously not as good as the last episode. I didn't expect it to be. I can't imagine it was going to be like pure action all the way through for the rest of this, season. There's only 2 more episodes, or this episode and 1 more episode. I believe there's only 8 episodes this season. I'm assuming there'll be some kind of a battle or some kind of a fight to make the last episode kind of leave you on the edge of your seat. But this one was more about dealing with the repercussions of that, what's going on with the Harfoots and the Stranger, and a little bit more what's going on in Khazad Dûm with Durin and Elrond. So, like I said, not as good as the last episode. I didn't expect it to be. It definitely has its moments, though. There's the dealing with the fallout of this story. It's some interesting character pair-ups in this. After the eruption of Mount Doom, basically everybody's kind of the Númenóreans and the people of the Southland are basically trying to make their way to the Númenóreans camp, which is over the mountain ridge, which is out of the ash cloud, basically. So everybody's kind of making their way there. You get an interesting pair up with Galadriel and the kid Theo. And I actually really enjoyed it. I actually thought it was pretty cool to see Galadriel have an interaction with someone that isn't necessarily on her level. Not that anybody is. Galadriel's definitely OP in this show, but kind of interesting to have her take somebody under her wing that she needs to protect. So this kid, she feels she needs to protect him, make him feel good that his mom could be alive, that the woodland or the tower elf could be alive. Arondir, that's his name. It's Arondir. I know it's Arondir. Every week I say I'm going to remember that guy's name, and every week I forget it. But it's Arondir. Make sure he's alive. And sure enough, it's probably the best character moments for her as far as like dialogue. I really enjoyed it. You get some hints into her past too, like her husband Cereborn. I'm always gonna fuck that name up too. But she said that she was married to Cereborn. I'm going to say Cereborn. It's probably wrong. You could let me know in the comments if I'm fucking that name up. But one of the things that people have been complaining about, the Tolkien purists that have read these, the exclusive Silmarillion backlog, the history of Middle-earth, what have you, the Second Age stuff that people are up in arms about, they're saying at this point she should be married to him and have kids, which, I mean, she said she's married to him, but she said that he's dead. But she also said that she never saw him again. So that leads me to believe that he's alive somewhere on Middle-earth right now, and that they will eventually reconnect, right? Because he's alive in... If this is based on the appendices and based on the events of the Peter Jackson films, he's alive in Fellowship of the Ring. So it leads me to believe... I think that's See, the problem is I want to say Celebrimbor, who's the other guy. All these goddamn names are too close together. Fucking Tolkien. Why couldn't you have called them like Ted and Jerry? Something easy to remember. But anyways, I believe he's alive in the Fellowship of the Ring, so I would assume he's alive in this storyline, and that eventually they'll just kind of meet back up, and then she'll become Lady Galadriel of the Wood. Sorry about the voices. But I'm again, it was a decent episode for her. It was nice to have some more backstory for her. I don't know that this will quiet any of the people that hate this show, the Tolkien purists that hate this show right now. But it was pretty cool to see her kind of have a few intimate moments with this kid Theo, trying to make him feel good and ultimately match him back up with the Númenóreans. Isildur kind of... He's obviously not dead, but that upon saving people from the burning hut, it collapsed on him. He'll get out. I don't know if he'll get out in orc captivity or not, but I'm sure something along the lines of that's going to happen, and he's going to reveal like some kind of big plan to either the people of Númenor have already set off sail back to Númenor, saying they're going to come back, but I'm sure he will have some sort of he will discover something about the enemy's plans and report that to the, the alliances of the people that are rising up against Mordor now. It was, again, he wasn't in the episode for a long time, just in it for the scene of getting crushed underneath that rubble. So, but it kind of, and his horse is on his way back to him. That's where that horse is running. So, it's pretty cool. The Queen Regent was blinded by the ash cloud. That's an interesting thing that happens in the story. And I didn't even expect it because she's kind of just riding out. They really don't tip their hat that she's blind until she almost has her eye poked out by that stick. And I was like, that's weird. I didn't know she was blind even when that happened. And it wasn't until just after that when she starts having her conversation. I'm like, oh, she's blind. That makes a lot more sense as to why she didn't try to avoid that stick that was coming right at her eye. But it was a pretty interesting storyline with her. I thought for sure she would have been like, well, this was a mistake, and now I'm blind, I won't be able to do anything. But it kind of like hardened her, and now she's like, no, we're coming back in force, and we are gonna fuck some shit up in this Mordor. I mean, they don't know it's called Mordor yet, but still, I'm not gonna fucking call it the Southland, and then later on call it Mordor when I'm talking about what the orcs are doing. It's just Mordor from this point forward. I mean, they even had the fucking title burn into the screen at the end of it when the Southlands are no longer the Southlands, but... But I'm choking to death. But I'm good. But it was a pretty decent episode. You got a lot of fallout with Durin and his dad. Durin wants to keep mining for the mithril, especially after he found out that rotten leaf from the poison of Sauron or whatever the fuck it is heals itself when the mithril's near it. So they're going to dig for that mithril. And I got to give it to my coworker, my friend, John Ackerman. He sent me a message a couple weeks back and he said, do you think the mithril is what's keeping the Balrog within the mountain? And that's what mining too greedily had brought him forward. And I said, I don't think so. I mean, the Balrogs, and this is before I knew that the Balrogs were, that Balrog had that fight on that mountaintop. But I said, I don't think so. I mean, if they're taking anything from the Silmarillion, the Balrogs just kind of fled to bury themselves until they were needed again. So I didn't think that a Balrog would bury himself underneath something that could keep him imprisoned. And if he burrowed into it, he could probably burrow his way back out. But I was wrong. It seems like my buddy John is right. And John, I give you all the credit in the world, my friend. You definitely read into that one way better than I did. But at the end of the day, I don't know when we'll actually see the Balrog come out. Obviously, that little teaser. I don't think it'll be this season. I can't imagine that they delve so greedily, so quickly that they unearth the fucking Balrog right away. But it is pretty cool to see it, and I'm interested to see the fall of Khazad-dûm in the mines of Moria. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. The Harfoots and the Stranger. Again, this is a storyline that's a little tough because I feel like every week I'm like, oh no, he's Sauron. And then every other week I'm like, maybe he's not. And this week is another one of those things where it's like he does some shit, some bad shit goes down, but then good stuff happens. Like he tries to fix that burnt tree that was struck by, I believe, the ash from the mountain. So these Harfoots are a lot closer to Mordor than I originally thought they were. But these trees in this glen are destroyed by the ash cloud or the flying rock from the volcano, and he tries to heal it, causing a tree branch to fall, almost kills Nori and her little brother, and he kind of leaves on his own after that. But then he does heal the tree. Whatever he did worked. So if this guy's Sauron, why the fuck is he bothering fixing these trees? Why is he bothering with these Harfoots? He can't be Sauron. I guess he could be, but then they fucking... The evil elf vessel people with the fucking black fingers, they're tracking this dude down. So what is their goal in this series? What are they trying to do? Who do they represent? I mean, I know that the main most prominent one of those three figures is that the chick with the super scary looking eyes. Is that Sauron? Like, who the fuck is Sauron in the show? He probably will show up in the next episode. I can't imagine you don't have a Sauron reveal in the 8th episode of this first season, knowing the second season's already in production. So I'm sure we will find out next week, but I don't know about this stranger. I don't know his allegiance truly, and I don't think he's Sauron, though. I don't think he is, but I'm not going to put money on that because this show's got me guessing. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for my review of episode 7 of The Rings of Power. Again, not as good as the last episode, but definitely one of the better episodes of this season. I feel like maybe the last 3 or 4 episodes have really been on a roll, given consistent, good content. So I'm hoping this finale next week is amazing. I'm hoping that it puts us into a place where I just am counting 364 days or whatever the fuck the next season comes out, counting the days till it comes out so that I can then, watch the second season and see where it goes. But anyways, guys, the question is for you. What did you think of the 7th episode of The Rings of Power? Was it one of your favorites? Was it as good for you as the last episode, or just kind of not that good, but still a good episode? Whatever you thought about it, let me know in the comments. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll come at you with another video really soon. Thanks.